Good morning, and welcome to your daily Farm and Home Show, brought to you by the University of Kentucky Cooperative Extension Service. And now, here's your host.
Good morning and welcome to your Farm and Home Show. My name is Joanna Coles, and this morning we're visiting with Morgan Hayes. She's with the University of Kentucky Biosystems and Ag Engineering and is Assistant Extension Professor there. Good morning, Morgan.
Good morning.
Now, Morgan, today we're going to talk a little bit about wind. And a lot of times in Kentucky we don't think about wind being something that we need to consider with barn sightings and different things, but it actually is.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. So a lot of people right now, I've got a lot of questions about people wanting to put up a barn to house animals, cattle in particular. And a lot of people, want to choose the right location. But one of the things that's really important is ventilation, because ventilation is how we manage moisture in a barn. And moisture is what creates ammonia, and it creates dust, and it creates a lot of issues in the barn environment, which leads to disease and other problems down the road. So if we can do a good job siting a barn, we're much better off. And so a lot of people call and ask me about a barn, and I ask them where they're located, and then the first thing I do is I go and find a windrows. And a windrows is actually a design so that we can see how air moves throughout a location throughout the year. And we can actually see it by month, or we can see an overall picture of the year. This is Bowling Green here. It's their windrows for the month of August, so the month we're in right now. And as you go from the center out, every color means higher and higher wind speeds. So the more colors we see that are in the orange and green, the better off we are for our barn to be able to receive airflow through it. The more we see in that black and blue, the more challenging it is to get airflow. And so a lot of people want to know where they should set their barn up, but they need to set it up so that that sidewall receives the majority of the wind. So in that case where we just saw that windrows, that would be on the south to west orientation. So maybe a southwest sort of angle on that long axis of a new barn.
Okay, and where can people access that information?
Sure, they can get it through through the meteorology department at UK. Has some access to those. Also, if you go online, most of the weather stations and things like that will actually have examples of that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different locations that you can pull it from.
All right, because a lot of people might talk about that, but maybe don't understand exactly how to use it and what it means.
Exactly. And the other thing that we're doing right now is we're working on an extension publication. It's not out yet, but that's one of our goals, and our goal is to actually create wind maps for the state. They're maybe a little bit easier to read. So this is just an example here, what we're working on here with a summer and a winter drawing of the state. So what we've done here is, instead of doing a full windrows, we've given the average wind direction for the month, and then the size of the arrow indicates the amount of wind that we're getting in that month. So it gives us a better indication of the winds by month. And what you'll see here is this first one is showing us a January wind speed, and you can see that there's some fairly large arrows in the middle of the state, which indicates a lot of wind. If you go to our summer wind map, you can see that those arrows got quite a bit smaller. So this is one of those real challenges in the state, is that a lot of people want to put in a barn, but the most wind that they need tends to be in the summertime, because that's when we need to keep our animals cool. But we're challenged because winds tend to decrease in the summertime around here. And sometimes they also shift directions. So maybe if we orient our barn for winter wind directions, we may not pick up summer wind directions. So really we have to study that wind speed by time of year and location.
Pretty complicated system, so thank goodness you guys are coming out with a pub on that, because it just depends. Like if you looked at it at one time of year, but maybe you have more animals in that barn in the winter or the summer, that you would really need to know your situation and what you're going to utilize that barn for.
Yep, and we're happy to help you with designing something like that, or having a discussion about how you're planning to use the space.
Yeah, so all important information to kind of think about. And a lot of times, like I say, we don't think about wind, but wind is so important, especially with just the diagrams that you have shown there, with the difference in months and the difference in speed and those type of things. And ventilation is so important. And I know engineers, they really work on that, but a lot of times we don't think about that kind of thing.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. It's really important, because if we don't get our ventilation right, we're forced to come back and mechanically ventilate. And most farmers really get hurt when they turn around and the cost that they assumed the barn was going to be suddenly has an electricity cost, plus the extra overhead for having to buy fans to make it work. So if we can do the things right up front with siting that barn to take advantage of that wind. That's really what we want to do.
Yeah, the most economic way as well. And I know there's plans and all kinds of different things that are available through the Biosystem and Ag Engineering department.
Absolutely.
All right, well, Morgan, certainly thank you. Appreciate you visiting with us all week. We've talked about livestock systems, wind, hay, all kinds of things. And so we would encourage you, if you have questions, to make sure to either contact your local extension office or visit the University of Kentucky website. Biosystems and Ag Engineering has their very own page, but we'd be happy to help. And thanks for watching. Have a great day.
If you have questions about today's topic, please call the Warren County Extension Office at the number on your screen. Thanks for watching and have a great day.